Welcome to Router Cross Connect, episode 2. I'm your host, Alessia, and I am joined by my colleague, Ashutosh, who is the Chief Strategist and CMO of Router. So personally, I take business development, and it's a great pleasure to host you guys today. We are both actually tuning in from Dubai. It's early evening, and my co-host is actually banking his salsa classes to make it to this episode.
Yeah, that is why I was asking our marketing head, right? Can you find a backup, or can you have someone on standby? And then, we decided that Web3 and community takes precedence over everything else. To be honest, I suck at dancing. Never really danced in my life, but it's always good to start something new, especially in an extended bear market, right? Where there is lesser things in crypto to do.
So, talking about the bear market, dear audience, what do you think we will see in the bulls taking over? You can comment under the main post. So, curious to hear what you think.
Yeah, basically the question is when moon, right? Cool. I think all of our speakers, most of our speakers have tuned in. I can see Adrian, I can see Timeless, I can see Jeff, Andrei, Natalie, Fox Wallet, UKISS. Welcome everybody. Maybe we can start with a short round of introductions, and I'll probably start with Ben. Ben, can you hear me? I see that your wallet has a very interesting name, UKISS, and that's a very interesting name for a wallet. So just wondering whether it's an abbreviation or is it like UKISS? And if you kiss, who do you kiss?
I see the band has just joined, so maybe you can repeat the question.
Yeah, I mean, Ben, hi, good day. I was saying that it's an interesting name for a wallet. So is it an abbreviation or is it like literally UKISS?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hi, thank you, Ashutosh. Very happy to be here tonight, this evening, to speak with all of you and to discuss this very interesting topic about wallets. It's actually about 11:37 p.m. right here in Singapore. So you guys are still having your early evening. Okay, good. So yeah, you mentioned about the name. So what is UKISS stand for? We want to create something that is very simple and very secure for Web3 users, especially about helping them to keep their private key, to manage their private key. In fact, the whole life cycle of the private key. So we want user to do it themselves in a very simple and secure way. So UKISS, I'm not sure whether you guess it. It stands for you keep it simple and secure. It can also stand for you keep it simple, stupid, as some of our clients like it. So yeah, it's up to imagination actually. Thank you.
Wow, that's super interesting. So it is actually an abbreviation. No, that's nice.
Yes.
Great. Adrian, are you there with us? XDEFI, CrossDeFi.
Yeah, sure. How are you doing, guys?
Yeah.
Gonna make a little presentation. So I'm working like as a head of the integration for XDEFI. So XDEFI is like a multi-chain wallet. Basically, you can manage like kind of many ecosystem. I guess like pretty much anything. There are just like few ones that are not yet supported, but we are like integrating like the custom application support like for EVM and Cosmos side. So there will be like the possibility to almost like manage anything like Bitcoin, EVMs, Cosmos, Solana, Near, or whatever. So happy to be there and see what we can do with like question stuff like router.
Cool. I'm really curious to know how many new users, XDeFi got when Elon Musk renamed Twitter to X.
Oh,
I'm sure the
yeah.
marketing
So
team
for them,
would have been very proud that day.
so yeah, I can share that if you want. So we are for the moment I have like I guess around 200K of like active user per month.
Great. And I see Natalie is reacting. So, Natalie, how have you been? We are keen to hear a brief introduction from you and what Fox is building. So, giving the mic to you.
Thank you so much, Alessia. Actually, I'm pretty much like Ben. I'm in the same time zone. I think it's 11:40 already at night, so it's a good night Twitter space, basically. And yeah, all is fine, and very happy to see why I'm actually reacting, because I'm very happy to see all the fellow wallets here and all the fellow competitors, if we can call it that way, here as well, because I believe in the healthy competition. I believe that that's something that drives innovation and perfection of the product. So would be super nice to hear what other people are building and how we can overall perfect and improve the wallet space, and kind of also raise a lot of awareness around that, because even this morning I had another Twitter space where people were like, we don't really know much about wallets, we don't really dive that deep into that, and those people have been in crypto for like a really long time. I'm talking about almost a decade. So yeah, hopefully here we can kind of I don't know, spread the word as well, and see how we can popularize this topic as well, because wallets are after all the gateway from Web 2 to Web 3, and kind of like a storage and everything. So super nice to be here. And regarding Fox Wallet, Fox Wallet is a decentralized mobile wallet. We are audited, have had two audits, as well as we kind of try to build this proper kind of entrance into the Web3 world. That's why we are working a lot on our user interface and our user experience, so we make it as easy, as sleek as possible, as seamless as possible. We have over 50 different chains and networks integrated on Fox Wallet at the moment. There's, I think, from what I remember, the exact number is 19 different testnets, which is super good. And you can always ask for a testnet token as well, so that you could try out. So that's something that is very good for somebody who's just entering or trying to try out a certain network, certain blockchain, as well as we have a couple of dev nets. I remember there's Solana and the others. I mean, I'm not a tech person, so obviously I didn't pay too much attention to the dev nets, as you can see. We do have on-ramp integrations. We recently introduced a swap feature as well, so now you can swap tokens, and hopefully this year we will head towards AA wallet creation. So yeah, that's in a nutshell about Fox Wallet.
Awesome. That's great. And we see that Yozi from Timeless has joined us. So good morning, GM Yozi. We know it's probably early morning, so hope you had your espresso shots already or not yet.
I'm always a caffeine addict, but it's always good to actually hear people from around the world. Truth be told, if you've been in the tech industry for a while, it is literally 24/7, and that even existed when I was working on Android and Google. It was literally 18 hours a day, right? And that's actually the exciting part in early development of any nascent technology industry. I'm speaking from the sunny Palo Alto, California. Just wrapped up, a very, very kind of insightful and also really kind of, I guess, a passionate crowd at the Stanford Blockchain Week, right? So it was good to actually roam around campus, and also just kind of really listening to other builders and other kind of protocol developers. What are some of the pain points they're facing, right? So, and I just want to kind of piggyback on a couple of things that I think in the wallet space I think is critically important. I think one. I think the competition in terms because I heard a couple of people, hey, potential competitors. I think probably the better framing is that the competition is actually not among the non-custodial wallet builders today, but it's really kind of existing Web2, digital wallet providers, right? I think Venmo, Cash App, or even PayPal, right, to some degree. I think they provide a much wider surface area in terms of market penetration. And also, truth be told, also their user experience. And that's kind of fundamentally where, Timeless comes in, right? We have, a reference development app. We call it Social Wallet. You guys can check it out. But the main thing that we've been developing in the past 6-7 months is actually a set of toolings, SDKs, APIs, libraries, to really help other DApp builders to make their app more social, right? And we can kind of get into nitty-gritty details a little bit more throughout this Twitter space conversation. But yeah, we're very excited to be here among a lot of the esteemed wallet builders out there. And then for Ben and a couple of the folks who are going to be in Singapore, hopefully I'll get a chance to meet up with you guys. Join Token 2049. I think it's going to be exciting to meet up with other builders and other entrepreneurs who really kind of converse and just maybe share, good stories, bad stories, or just kind of see people in real life, touch grass, as we say, right? So yeah, very good to be here and really excited for the following conversations.
Cool.
Yes, please do drop by Singapore. We are based in Singapore, and we have a lot of events this whole week, next whole week. So if anyone do come to Singapore token 2049, please drop me a note, and let's arrange to meet up and join some of our events.
Love to. I think that like I said, as much as these digital conversations are good, it's still kind of a low bandwidth, high latency conversation, right? There's nothing like sitting among 5 or 6 builders and just talking high bandwidth, low latency, in real life. So Ben, yeah, I'd love to chat up more, right? And just also get your perspective in terms of like how what are some of the challenges that you're facing when you're building a non-custodial wallet, right? Especially in 2023, where the market has not been very generous, right?
We'd love to share. We'd love to discuss.
Cool, guys. So we have Andrei from 1inch here. So while 1inch needs no introduction, would love for you to enlighten our audience about your role at 1inch and the latest updates as well.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Andrei. I'm wallet team lead at 1inch. And yeah, as you know, 1inch is kind of huge. We have our DApp with swaps, aggregation protocol. We have staking. We have support of multi-networks in our DApp. And of course, we have 2 native mobile wallets for iOS and Android. And we are building multi-chain non-custodial DeFi crypto wallet with easy interface, which is mainly user-driven. We do a lot of we do a lot of user interviews to form our product, and especially our wallet. And our main focus as a wallet is security, unparalleled security, and that's basically it about us. Lately, we are building. We added new feature on our Android wallet is portfolio. It was released just about yesterday, and yeah. Also, recently we added address book feature, which is really important for users, and it helps users to prevent scam. Actually, yeah. So that's about a couple of weeks from us. Thank you. Really glad to be here. Thank you for inviting us.
Awesome. Happy to have you here as well. So now, Jeff, passing mic to you. So welcome again, and tell us about Halo Wallet, or as I understand, it's KuCoin Wallet. So please give the short introduction about Halo and why did you choose to rebrand, given that KuCoin is a strong brand itself.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, hi, I'm Jeff, founder and CEO of Halo Wallet. Yeah, maybe you haven't heard of us. It's normal, yeah, because we just rebrand in the early of this year, and since we are focused on a cutting edge, which is social fi, like Panelists, so it's not quite famous now. Yeah, and about Halo Wallet, maybe some of the audience knows we ever is the KuCoin wallet. Yeah, and the reason why we rebrand to Halo Wallet is because we think that the Web3 business has a big difference with the Web2 business. Like centralized exchange, they are part of a Web2 business. They help their users to custom their assets. But for us, we are a self-custodial wallet, and if we still use the Coupon brand, some of our users will think, yeah, are you a really self-custodial wallet? They may have some confusions about this, so we decided to rebrand to Fiddle Wallet, even though it's a hard way for us, but I think it's also the right way. Yeah, glad to be here and met a lot of commenters. Yeah, I'm quite excited.
Great. Thanks for the intro. And now, Peter, we are passing the mic to you. So, curious to hear more about Krystal Wallet. Would you like to introduce the wallet to our audience?
Yeah. Hey, it's Jarvis here. I'm currently like CTO of Krystal. So yeah, great to be here today with all of others wallets. So yeah, as a wallet, right? So we are doing the same thing. So help user to keep the money safely and use the money wisely. And we are helping user to manage like all of the assets on 50 plus chains and spend the money. Recently, we also like launched a new features which is called like liquidity lens. So we are focusing more on liquidity assets, have users to manage the liquidity assets like easily. Yeah, pretty much here to discuss the related topics.
Cool. That's a great round of introductions. Thanks, everyone. We have a lot of people tuned in, and some of them are pretty new to Web3 as well. So maybe we can start with the absolute basics, right? So everyone is on the same page there. What are crypto wallets and the different types of wallets? From an absolute layman's perspective. Maybe Natalie, you would want to take this and enlighten our audience.
I'm sorry, I can hear not very well, but my name was mentioned, right?
Yeah, Natalie, can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah, I can hear. It's just a little bit. It feels sometimes I don't know why I have these problems with Twitter Spaces. Sometimes the sites probably my phone's problem or my connection problem. But anyway, yeah, I heard your question. Thank you so much. Yeah, it's the best question. I guess the easiest, especially with my background. But at the same time, the most crucial probably. Yeah. So overall, wallets are. I mean, wallets are crucial, and wallets probably are the most important in terms of creating a kind of gateway for any user in the Web3 because, first of all, it's the first thing that you would do if you want to get involved in crypto. Yeah, you would have to, like, if you would want to own any crypto assets, let's put it this way, because you would want to have a wallet where you can store them. Yeah, and number two, even if you are really involved in crypto, I mean, you still have to store your assets. Yeah, so it's one of the it's like something that you can't really avoid. Yeah, you can't go without a wallet, so it's super important. Now, another important thing is that now wallet is also serving a lot like this kind of connector for certain dApps and for certain chains as well. Yeah, because now the more chains, the better, right? But at the same time, every chain has an ecosystem where you can interact with different dApps and stuff. And wallet is a place where you can actually get connection to all these dApps. And at the same time, without all apart from that, also there's a lot of third-party integrations like that are embedded in the wallet. For example, swaps. For example, I don't know, buying crypto or with fiat, or buying fiat with crypto, like MetaMask just introduced and stuff. Or for example, I don't know, checking on the certain security of the coins and stuff. So wallet is a place where actually so many features can be integrated. While that can't when we talk about any other projects on the on the Web3 space, yeah, it could be a little bit more difficult. Yeah, so wallet is like this whole is a space with so much diversity. So it comes from, yeah, once again, it can be very from the very basic stuff, like for Web2 users, yeah, it's a perfect gateway to the Web3 world in general, to blockchain, yeah. Number two, it's your storage. And number three, that's, you know, kind of where you can interact with all the rest of the blockchain space. Yeah, there's just so many things to that, to be honest. But yeah, wallets are indeed crucial, because without it, I mean, where do you put your stuff? It's the same as, like, I don't know, in the Web2, let's say, in the traditional finance. I mean, without having, let's say, not a wallet, but let's say your credit card is also a sort of wallet that you have, right? That's where you keep your money. So I mean, you can't really live without it nowadays, right? So I guess the same in crypto, and crypto decentralized wallets or Web3 wallets. You can't really stay without those. So I guess that's the main point on that. And yeah, it does have a lot of, like, and also an important point of wallets is the whole DApp interaction. I see that many projects that are starting off, for example, so that's talking maybe more from the marketing perspective or from the user adoption perspective. Many projects, they are just starting off and they need some kind of like spaces again where users could actually find them and interact with them, and wallet is something like that, because basically what you do, let's say if you have a DApp, how do you call it, like a DApp page in a browser, right? That's where you click on a certain DApp and you interact with it within the wallet, which is fantastic. So you don't really need to jump on and off and do some, you know, complex stuff. And that's the beauty of it. And that's what we're also trying to do now, is we see these all interactions. We need to make sure that the user experience is as seamless as possible, as comfortable as possible. And I've been talking too much, so I'm very sorry. So I'm going to let somebody else speak.
No, that is great. Yozi, from Timeless perspective, you mentioned a lot about social adoption. So wanted to ask you specifically, what percentage of your user acquisition is like absolute new users into crypto, and what percentage is, let's say, existing crypto users? And this question is to all wallets in general, because obviously the key takeaway of this discussion until now has been that wallets are effectively a gateway into crypto. So one would naturally assume that a large majority of the audience is non-Web3 users, non-crypto users. But that also throws up a lot of challenges to wallets, because there is always this fear and lack of education when it comes to crypto, and the obvious questions on safety, security of funds. So how do you talk to this kind of an audience? How do you convey your value proposition?
Yeah. So, by the way, I just want to supplement what some of the really good talking points that Natalie shared about the importance of a non-custodial or self-custodial wallet. I think the line of demarcation between whether you're in the Web3 space or not in the Web3 space is actually, are you using a Web3 a non-custodial wallet? If you're not, you're in the Web2. For example, you could be a token holders using Binance or using Coinbase or even Robinhood, right? That means you're part of the 425 million crypto holders, but you're not participant in a Web3 ecosystem, which is actually relatively small. I think the true number is actually roughly around 300,000 daily active wallet addresses out there. And then MetaMask has about 30 plus million accounts, but in reality, that's probably less than about 10 million actual users. So meaning, like, I myself have about 20 or 30 MetaMask accounts, right? So, and that's kind of my indirect way of answering, the question, which is the number of new users who are first time, who are nascent to crypto is actually nominal. Meaning, we have maybe about 30 or 40%, of the thousands of people. We have about.
This space was downloaded via spacesdown.com. Visit to download your spaces today.
A couple thousand weekly active users. That's actually nominal, meaning it's not significant, right? Relative to you come from the Web2 ecosystem. So I think the job for many of the people who are on the stage today is actually really thinking about how do we actually, what is the kind of the most seamless way to actually on-ramp more participants into Web3. And social has always been, one of the core primitives of getting new users. And let me kind of explain, right? first, I think just kind of look at, in 2009, 2002, 2011, that 3-year period. If you look at the rise of mobile usage and how Facebook especially got really big, it was actually as more and more people start using mobile devices, what Facebook did, and that was kind of one of the most amazing growth hacks they did, led by the current team of SPAC, Chimoff. What Facebook did was basically integrated your phone's contact list, the phone social graphs, right, and dynamically upload to their database and do a match, see whether your phone list, all the contacts on your phone, are they already a Facebook user? If they're not, they will send a text message to incentivize them to create a new Facebook account. And in those 3 years period, you can see almost a double-digit growth week over week, right? So this is kind of one of the dark patterns of growth hacking that we saw when I was at Google, right? And there was no reciprocity in the sense that Facebook grew really quickly, but that social graph was not shared among all the participants in the overall ecosystem. And that's specifically why Facebook and Google had a fallout in 2012, because Facebook was sucking up all the social graph data without giving it back to the community. And that's kind of where we come in, right? And I want to be even more clear and concise. What we have developed, the social wallet in the App Store today, is really a reference design. Again, this is something that we brought from how Google was approaching Android development. There's always a reference device every year, either the Nexus or the Pixel, or the latest and greatest operating system. And open source it, give it out to the community, and other developers, other OEMs can reference that. That's exactly the same approach that we've taken for Timeless, the SDK, which is we bundle all the kind of middleware stack, the L1, L2 integration on the various different DeFi services, including Router, including 1inch, and many of the other DeFi service providers. We bundle that into a single SDK, a modular SDK that other developers, it might be some of the other wallet builders in this panel today, they can simply just pick and choose the very different integration we have done, right? Let's say you want to have a direct integration with Blowfish. It's one line of code, right? And without exposing Blowfish API. So that's kind of the way we're thinking about how do we actually together with many other wallet builders, many other DApp providers can actually get the next 100 million, the next 200 million, 300 million, 500 million, a billion users into the Web3 ecosystem, right? And I'll close out with kind of the one thing I want to supplement to what Natalie said, which is the nomenclature of wallet in people's head has always been: is it a Chrome extension? Is it a physical, cold storage ledger wallet, or is it a mobile app? I think that's kind of a more I think that doesn't really address, where the industry is going in the wallet space, right? I do see in the next, 48 months and more, where more and more wallet will actually become invisible, meaning it's directly embedded within all the dApps, within all the swap providers, within all the GameFis, right? And that's why where you see, both MetaMask release snaps, and then also with Coinbase releasing wallet as a service. And I think that's good news for the entire industry, because together, like I said, this market share is too small for anyone to really think about competition, but it's really more about how do you actually bake bigger pie as opposed to which slice of the pie are you getting, right? And then also just kind of the overall user interaction. It's make it more social, make it more invisible. People shouldn't have to think about, I'm opening up a wallet in order to get on the internet. That should not be the way how our community, our users should be really reframing a non-custodial wallet. So, but that's kind of my spiel. Thanks for the time. Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, Yozi. Very interesting insights. I think it makes a lot of sense, what you're saying. So now question to you, Andrei. So 1inch, is a known brand. It's one of the flag bearers of Web3. And a large part of the success comes from adoptions by new users. So what is your B2C strategy? And are you going specifically after Web2 users as well?
I think currently our main strategy aiming mostly regular users. And for BTC users, we have not the wallet itself. We have other products at 1inch, like Swap API and yeah, basically our aggregation protocol for aggregating liquidity across different sources on multiple networks. That is our BTC strategy. And in terms of wallet is like a user-facing part of the ecosystem. And here at 1inch, we kind of draw in an analogy and like Web3 is a new world, and for Web2, web browser was that thing as a wallet, and now for Web3, like as the web browser was to the internet revolution, wallets are to the Web3 movement. So yeah, wallet for us is a user entry point part into the ecosystem. Yeah, passing my word.
Yeah, thanks, thanks, Andre. So, one question to all the speakers here. As a wallet, obviously you guys are present on multiple, number of ecosystems, number of blockchain ecosystems. So, what are your expectations from an interoperability protocol, like say router? I mean, what would you love to see from your interoperability partner?
I can go with this one if you want. I can start. So yeah, I guess like as a multi-chain wallet, for example, we used to see like the problem with like interoperability. Like people will have some fund like on Ethereum side, some will have like on Cosmos or probably Solana, and then well, if you have like a lot of fund like in the one side and you want to just like use them, let's say like on another ecosystem, you're pretty much fucked because there is like not so many ways. So this is where like the interoperability is like trying to solve like this problem. Because most of the people, they will probably like start as an entry point like on an ecosystem, probably let's say like Bitcoin or Ethereum, but some will start like on Solana or Cosmos because they will like probably hear about it like from a friend or something like that. So then, if they want to just like play around like with another ecosystem, you need like a bridge or something that create the roots for that. So I guess like the real problem is that we are trying to solve, and probably Router is trying to solve as well, is bringing like this liquidity fluently from the different like ecosystem. So there is like some part like solving this as well. Like 1inch here probably solve this with like the aggregator part. We also have like a native like swap directly in wallet that we created. Like it's like a routing API intern of the wallet, so it gives you like the ability to swap from one ecosystem to another. So routers, for example, is like one of the solutions that provide that. For the moment, there is like some live that you can probably know, like Layer Zero, Squid, with Axera, for example. And if you just like look at the amount of like volume they are generated, like since like 3 months or so, it's just like multiplicating like every month. Something is very, very working very well. Like there is a lot of interest. There is a lot of liquidity flowing through it, and I guess this is like the solving problem that we will have. Like so, we are kind of like excited like to have it like a scene like with Router as well, because as a multi-chain wallet, I said this is like one of the problems that we can have with our users because they start like somewhere and they probably will need like to jump into another one, and just I guess it's more about like the trend and the opportunities, and people can just like flow like within like the different ecosystem and just navigate easily, seamlessly, and just get the opportunities they want.
Thanks, Adrian. Jarvis, from a tech perspective, and obviously, the CTO of Krystal Wallet, from a tech perspective, what challenges in interoperability space do you face, and how can interoperability protocols address those challenges? What is your top three, for example?
The challenges?
Yeah, the challenges specifically from an interoperability perspective for a wallet, and what would you like interoperability, interoperability infra providers to provide to wallets that makes it easier?
Yeah, right. So as I mentioned earlier, right? So we are on here like as a wallet, right? A physical wallet. So we all try to like keep the money and spend the money, right? So it's going to be like the same for Web3 wallet, and we are all like trying to do that. But in Web3, like it's going to be like much more complicated. So Web3 is like open and decentralized in a way that's like anyone like can create like any token, right? Or like anyone can provide like any liquidity. So it is like making the managing money and spending money like much more harder. And probably that is a challenge for wallet to onboard users. So from the tech perspective, right, for Krystal at the moment, so it is like a big challenge for us. That's like we need to process like all of the blockchain data, like TB of the data, and try to like filter for users like what is the valid tokens, what is the valid information, and try to be like a filter like for them. So that's like user can get a lot of spam tokens and have them like to manage the wallet better. So yeah, so I think like that's the biggest challenge for Crystal, and that we are trying to tackle to have users.
Thank you. And now giving the mic to Ben. So, Ben, amongst all speakers, you're the only one present running a hardware wallet as well. So, what are some key intricacies connected with cold wallets, and how does interoperability come into play, in such devices?
Hi. Yes. UKISS is we started with a hardware wallet. Of course, we don't stop there, and our basic mission is really to onboard as many of the Web2 users to Web3. And in the process, we realized that we need to. I think like most of the wallets vendors here tonight realize that we need to make the whole experience of Web3 very simple and easy. Right now, it's just too complicated, especially like when we have a wallet, we need to back it up. And the typical way is to use seed phrase or recovery phrase, right? To write down these 12, 24 words on a piece of paper. And I realized that it doesn't work for Web2 users. My own experience when I have a project in China and our seed phrase was all in Chinese characters. Now you can imagine the mess that can create, because in Chinese, just one little dot makes a difference, right? So imagine 12, 24 Chinese word written in a very cryptic way. And when they re-enter the 12, 14 word, 24 words, it said it's wrong. And the user have no clue which word is wrong. And basically the whole seed is gone. So we came together and we want to create something simple. So first thing what we did was we get rid of the seed phrase. So there's no seed phrase produced in our wallet. And then of course the question is then how do you back up your private key if you ever lose it, right? So we came up with a unique idea using two hardware wallets, minimum two hardware wallets. So one is to back up the other. And we make the whole process very simple and idiot proof. So you just plug and play. And so basically one hardware is a backup of the others. And because there's no seed phrase involved and the hardware is like there's no screen, no button, no battery, nothing to learn, very simple, you just plug in and pull out of the phone. The whole setup process, we cut it down to less than 2 minutes for a brand new user, non-crypto user. We find that this is the best way to onboard users. So we test it out, and a lot of users found that it is really very simple. And to them, they don't even really need to know that this is a Web3 wallet. It is just a system for them to manage the whole private key, the whole life cycle, the whole disaster recovery process of the private key. And that is all under a minute, just plug and play. So I think in terms of how we view this is the best way to, one of the best way I would say, of making it simple so that more users can come onto the Web3 space, right? Because like earlier speakers said, that this is what we want. I think our battle is not among each other. Our battle is with against the Web2 space, right? And Web2 people are so used to very simple, idiot-proof way, and we need to make it simple and idiot-proof so that they can come in, right? So together, I think we can make this whole space easier. So our philosophy is that we create the technology behind the hardware-based technology, and we want to work with all the Web3 partners, whether you are software wallets, whether you are a DeFi platform, NFT platform, metaverse platform, on-off ramps, and all this. We can be your partners to help bring on users from the Web2 space into Web3. And I hope that we can do that together. Yeah, I think in terms of interoperability, I think all wallets, we need to be multi-chain. We need to even interoperate with Web2 space, not just Web3 space. So we are also in the process of making our hardware wallet a kind of universal authentication device that it can be replace all the password in the Web2 space right now using FIDO standard, web authentication standard. That will, I think, we are using Web3 technology to solve a Web2 problem, essentially. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing, Ben. Natalie, I saw you reacted with the hand. Would you like to add to what was Ben mentioning?
Yes, please, just a little bit. And I'm sorry, Ben, that I kept doing it. I'm very sorry. But
No
anyway, yeah,
problem.
so Ben just mentioned that, but yeah, you guys are a hardware wallet. Yeah, so you can actually like find different solutions for this, right? Like, but this has also been a big question recently. During the Paris events, it was promoted quite a bit. As well during many of these side events and during the conferences is like the account abstraction, the AA wallet. And I guess that would be the best solution now for all the just mobile or let's say mobile or desktop or browser extensions in terms of wallets. So yeah, that's for example something that we are looking at, because this way you would also be able to replace these like seed phrases and mnemonics that you're trying to write down. And oh my god, I can't even imagine how to do that in Chinese, to be honest. But yeah, you can replace all that really difficult stuff, and something that honestly, if I had to join Web3 today and somebody told me that I have to write down 12 or how many 24 words right now on a piece of paper and keep it and make sure I don't lose it, I'd probably just say sorry. Yeah. So yeah, fair enough. We're probably very used to this easy kind of entrance for everything, but at the same time, yeah, a wallet would probably help. Yeah, and in terms of interoperability, actually something, so I did ask my devs about this. I was like, so what's the biggest kind of challenge for you guys? What they said is like from the probably the back end perspective, because it also depends, yeah, but for different devs, yeah, what they're doing back end, but anyway, so basically it said it's like if it's a multi-chain wallet, and especially we have different kind of chains, yeah, we can have ZK, especially with ZK, it's a bit private ZK chains. Is just that there are different mechanisms that different in all these chains. For example, account balances like are represented through like different like encrypted nodes, or for example, sending certain transactions requires the generation of proofs. So this all requires quite a bit of technical experience, I would say, a good technical background, as well as a lot of work, so that they see it as the biggest challenge for a multi-chain wallet, at least, and in terms of
Yeah, that's very true what you said, like managing like all the indexers and maintaining them to have like the historical balance for the users or something like that is like a lot of work. And I guess like wallets that just like have like the EVM side, let's say, is kind of like easy because pretty much anything work like with the same like structure and format. And once you just like integrate like, let's say, other like native like blockchain, let's say like Solana or Near, for example, they do have like their own like specificities. So literally it's not the same, and yeah, it's a lot to manage and a lot of resources to be put like
on front for that. Totally agree.
If you don't mind if I chime in a little bit, I think some of the conversation about, for example, the cold storage wallet and then also AA, account abstraction, I think these are kind of the UX patterns that kind of what I mean by it's going to becoming less and less visible to many of the users. Case in point, we had a really good conversation with a Ledger team in Paris about a month and a half, 2 months ago. And then the general discussion is this, right? Majority of the modern day smartphones, whether you're on the iOS ecosystem or the Android ecosystem, they have a very good secure enclave integrated into the mobile device. And this is not to say like, a completely air gap, a non-connected device, cold storage wallet does not need to exist. It still needs to exist. But I think for the most part, I think many of us who are talking about Web3 non-custodial wallet, we're talking about a hot wallet, meaning something that you want to use multiple times a day, right? And it should feel very seamless. So leveraging the embedded secure enclave on your mobile device, I think that's probably a really good path forward for many of the developers out there. And then in terms of account abstraction, I think the technology part is actually not the most challenging aspect. We actually have a code branch that actually does the AA. But I think the fundamental issue is actually how do you deal with account abstraction across multiple chains? And how do you actually deal with account abstraction for some of the more expensive L1s and L2s, right? In terms of the gas fee. And then also how do you actually let the user know, or how do you actually abstract away the bundler, right? And the payment master. I think these are kind of the UX patterns that I think has not been discussed enough yet, especially during the height of ECC and also eDenver. A lot of discussion was more about the ERC 4337 proposal and the adaptation of it, and whether Argent and Safe wallets will participate, because those are the two leading provider of smart contract wallets. So my general kind of encouragement for everyone who are listening is really more about really focus on the kind of the UX patterns. And when I say UX pattern, I don't just mean, what does the app look like? I mean, really think it through in terms of like, how do we actually make the kind of the technical guardrail less visible, right? So with that being said, this has been a really good conversation. I do have a prior engagement, so I need to run to at 9:30. So I'm really looking forward to connect with many of you guys in Singapore.
Yes, do drop me a note. Let's meet up in Singapore.
Likewise.
Cool. Thank you. Have a great time in Singapore. So, taking over from from what you were saying, right? Is more than the technical guardrails per se, it is the user experience and the changes to UI that need to bring to fore some of the capabilities that are unlocked by EIP 4337, right? So something like batching of transactions, or paying someone else's gas, paying gas on someone else's behalf, or have someone else pay your gas. So where are we in terms of your respective wallets, in terms of seeing those possibilities at a UI UX level? Jarvis, would you like to take that?
Yeah, I can take this. So for the UI UX, right? Yeah, I guess like abstraction, so it can like show a lot of things. So on the basic, right? Actually, like for Web2 users, like when they jump in like Web3, so for general users, like to understand even like the wallet address, or like even the token address, and then like the gas fee and all of the stuff, like actually like they are like super technical to general users, right? And it's going to be like a big blocker like for the mass of users like coming to Web3. And I guess like a abstraction gonna be like a a good way to solve everything. So that's like users don't really have to care about the gas fee, or even like the wallet. Like we can create the account like, for users, so they don't really need to care about like wallet address at all, or like token address. So everything gonna be like an abstract layer for users, and I suppose like everything gonna be like experience the same way as like Web2. So that's going to be like the must at that time as well.
Cool, thank you. And with that, I think let's open the floor to questions from audience. We have a lot of them. So audience, whoever would like to ask questions, please request for the mic, and we can probably take a few questions. Cool. I think one popular question which has not been asked is probably to 1inch, right? When is the next coolest party coming around?
As a tech guy, probably I'm not the right person to to respond to this. I don't know. Next conference, next large event, maybe. That would be the right answer.
Cool. Thank you, guys. Thank you for joining in. Was really having really nice hosting all of you, and was great to have your views on the topic. Thank you.
Thank you all. It was a
Thank you,
pleasure
everyone.
to
Thank you.
have this conversation. Bye bye.
Thank you, everyone.